Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys liked the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward.
What's up, guys? Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert. Do your own research. Okay, so Bitcoin is doing really well lately, and everybody's very excited to see it. Is this the bottom? Where are my thoughts on the market? I'm just going to review Bitcoin today. So let's get to it. So I don't think this is the overall macro bottom, and the reason for that is that Bitcoin has only had kind of a V-shaped reversal since in March 2020 over the last few years. Typically speaking, bottoms take a really long time to form. And you'll know if you've watched a lot of my other videos, you'll know that I've kind of made this observation quite a bit. The last bottom that we had was in May and June and July of 2021. This one took a few months to form. And more importantly, you'll notice that price got wicked into demand quite a bit. So you saw a lot of wicks and a lot of moves into this demand area around 30K. We haven't really seen that quite yet. There haven't been any wicks. There's just kind of been this slow grind down, and there hasn't been another return to this demand area around 33K. If this is the bottom, I do expect 33 to 34K to get tapped again. I think it's very likely. Let's look a little bit at some other macro bottoms in the last few years. The last significant one after June and July of 2021, in my opinion, was this macro bottom in March 2020. This was a V-shaped reversal. This one was an anomaly for several reasons. Number one, so many people got liquidated on this move, and this was like almost like a black swan event for crypto. Like this was genuinely very scary. I thought like Bitcoin could have had a chance to go to zero, but so many people got wiped out on this move down, and with the infinite money printer situation that followed, it was just like an up only situation where the lows never really got tapped again. But this again was an anomaly compared to the last few years. Going back further to the infamous 6K level, 6K was this support level that was tapped over and over again in 2018. And what do we need? We needed one last final shakeout. This was a nasty fall from the 6K to 3K level, followed by a long accumulation period where this lasted a very long time. Okay, so those are the last three kind of bottoms that we saw. And, there's a lot of other types of mini bottoms that you can see as well through Bitcoin's price history. For instance, this was like kind of early 2020. This one again, this was not necessarily a macro bottom, but it still took quite a while to form. It still took over a month. So what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that when Bitcoin bottoms out over its recent price history, you'll see that price often takes a long time to form a bottom, and you'll often see price revisit kind of the area that it initially wicked to. Now, contextually, I don't expect this to look exactly like May 2021. This was much more of a just total market nuke all in one go. Whereas what we've seen over the last few months of this type of price history, it just reminds me very much more similar to 2018, where this is just a slow grind down, and you're not seeing like a massive liquidation like we saw back in May. May, you just get killed like in like a few days or a week or whatever, and that was that. This, you're seeing much more of like a typical bearish market structure where you're seeing lower highs and lower lows all the way down. Now, if this is the bottom, I am expecting another wick down and return down to 33, 34, 30, 32K or something like that. Don't know what it's going to look like, but it would make a lot of sense to me. And if you look back to see kind of this June last shakeout that Bitcoin had, it went negative 30% because it tapped the range highs, and then it obviously went down, lower high, one last slow grind down to the lows around 29K, and then we obviously know what happened next. It reversed. So to me, what would make sense would be to see some sort of like lower high formed. That's almost certainly going to happen, like a lower high. Like I think it's highly, highly unlikely that we just like V shape up and then like go up to like 70K. I think it's very unlikely for that. Like with the way that price looks now, I think it's much more likely that price will hit a lower high, anywhere from 47 to 50, low 50Ks. And there's a lot of confluence with that level area. You can see this 200-day EMA around 47K, high volume node right here. So typically speaking, this is going to be a lot of confluence for a resistance level. And it's almost, as I said, it's a near certainty that price will have a lower high. I don't know where it's going to be, either 47, 50, even now like 44K. To me, it's very important to see where the low is set, because if we see some sort of higher low, similar to what we saw back in September, so for example, we hit a consolidation period for a few months, hit some sort of lower high in September, obviously 53K, but what was important here was we found a higher low. And to me, this was very important in the sense that we hit a higher low relative to some of the lows back in June and July. And once we cleanly broke 53K, that to me was a bullish market structure confirmation, because we have a higher high at this point, right? Higher higher at that point, and higher low. So to me, what I'm looking for here is some sort of like I'm looking for where this high is set. It's going to be a lower high. I don't know where it's going to be. 47, 50K. It's going to pull back. And if it hits some sort of higher low, then I'm willing to start considering a bullish market structure at that point. Until that time, I think that it would make a lot of sense personally if price, went 47, 50 or so, came back down, had some weak bounces, and eventually retap this 33 to 34K area as a low. Entirely possible that this 34 to 33K area is the low. But if it is, then I do want to see another return back to those levels again. I want to see price wick down. I want to see some volatility. And of course, this bottom is going to look different than the May bottom, of course, or the May, June, July bottom. And, just from a market structure perspective, this type of price action that you see here, the slow grind down, is much different than this nuke, this straight market nuke where it's just an elevator down. So I think that every reversal is going to look different. I realize that. I acknowledge that. But for me personally, I still believe that Bitcoin, you'll just have to look at the price history of it chopping around for a long time. And just holding true to that idea that it takes a long time for bottoms to form, just given overall history of Bitcoin. And I'll continue to stick to that history until shown otherwise. So, if we just start V-shape reversing, then I'm going to be very surprised. But as I said before, I am very interested in seeing a return to the 33 to 35K level. So what's my plan from here? My plan currently is to go ahead and de-risk a little bit higher on 47 to 50K. I'll be selling some of my alt positions at that point. And what's very important for you guys to understand is that just because you sell an altcoin doesn't mean that you necessarily hate the project. You can actually still love the project. You can just make a lot more money by compounding your position. And what do I mean by that is you can sell a little bit higher, I don't know, 47K, and then you just buy more of that same coin with the Bitcoin or USD that you sold. You just buy more of that coin on a dip. You can compound your position, and this is a good way of staying in your position, and really still acquiring more coins and staying quote unquote loyal to the project. An exit doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're exiting for good. So as I said, I am viewing some sort of lower high. I don't know where it's going to be. And after that, I'll be looking to buy some dips on some altcoins that I like. I'm looking at like Near and other coins, but it is possible that this is the bottom. I mean, I personally was looking at like 28K or so. I still think it's possible. I don't know if it's going to happen, but With macro looking the way it is, it's very uncertain. This was a demand area, and this weekly area was an area that everybody was looking at. And this 35K area was very interesting and very a strong weekly level. But to me, it's still a bit early to say if this is like the bottom. As I said, I think that bottoms take a long time to form, and I think that we're still going to see another revisit to the 33K levels at a minimum, 33, 34, whatever, around that area, 30, maybe 35K, just around that area. It doesn't necessarily have to be precise. But um, but yeah, that's kind of my overall like thought process in regards to Bitcoin. The next level up, in my opinion, as I said, would be like this 47K area. You can see the weekly candle closes around that time period, and after that, of course, like this 52K area as well. But still a lot of time before that time. There's still a lot of like price action before it gets to that point. So I'm just taking it kind of level to level. I do have my bids lower too, just in case like we do get a nasty wick down to 28K or whatever. But for now, I think that like I am viewing like this 28K. I'm sorry, not 20K. I am viewing this 48K, 47K area and low 50s. So that's kind of my overall thought on Bitcoin for right now. I do think that um, I am looking for like where the lowest at. That's my biggest next thing is I fully expect it to still go to 47 to 50K or whatever, and I really want to see where this lowest set because um, if like we start to get some like weak bounces and just continue lower, then then at that point I'm thinking that this trend is still bearish at this point. If we start hitting lower highs, lower lows, but if in fact we hit a higher low at that point, I am willing to reconsider my overall opinion. So thanks guys for watching. I appreciate all the support. I'm going to try to do a video each day this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So thanks so much.